Hey friends, I wanted to make a very quick video with a very important update. I set the date for surgery. I will be having my top surgery on April 7th of this year at 11:30 a.m. That is in 11 weeks exactly, and I'm really excited. I think I was really scary to call the clinic and actually talk to them and set up a date, but I feel good about it. I'm going with Dr. Fisher, and I feel really good about that choice. And I also decided on double incision over keyhole, and I feel really good about that choice. I got my packet of forms and pre and post op instructions, um, and I'm like sorting through those and signing stuff. And I have a physical tomorrow and take stuff to my doctor and start getting her to work on the letter because I can have mine come from my primary care physician, so I'm gonna do that. I think that sort of right now, in terms of like other than just sort of being bewildered that it's actually there's a day, that I'm like not just working towards a nebulous future thing, but that there's actually like a date that's coming. What I'm working on and thinking about, aside from that and from fun stuff, which again I think I'm gonna do a whole other video about. Most of what I'm concentrating on is how to relax myself from now until surgery, right immediately before surgery, and then kind of after surgery. 'Cause it occurred to me about 2 seconds after hanging up how nervous I am about physically having surgery. I'm really excited about having top surgery, and I'm really excited about living in a body post top surgery that is, I can only assume, going to feel so much better to me. Excited to just have my brain space back, to take the like amount of time and energy I spend being upset about not having had surgery yet and do something else with it. Um, but until that happens, I get really anxious about this kind of stuff. I haven't had like a surgery since I had my tonsils taken out, and I was 8 then, and I'm 24 now, so it's been a little bit. And just all that kind of stuff makes me really anxious. I get really worked up. I get kind of nauseous. I get like my throat and my mouth goes totally dry, and I just get really tense and sweaty, and it's just gross. It's gross. Um, so a couple of things that I've sort of set as plans to start working on that. One, I am reading all of the information that the doctor sent me about surgery. It all makes me kind of want to barf, but I'm reading it, and I'm reading it a lot, and I'm reading it in the hopes that by the time I get close to the day of, by the time I get to the day of, that none of it is news. That when she's telling me post-op instructions or like potential complications or the stuff that like if I didn't know would make me really really anxious in that moment, that I'll be like, oh yeah, I know that, like duh, My hope is that it becomes boring information. Um, which is not entirely dissimilar to the idea of like the more testosterone shots I've taken, the more that self-injecting has become just like a kind of a boring thing I do. So something similar to that. Second thing I'm doing is I am limiting my conversations with other people about my surgery to things that I kind of want to talk about or ask about. Um, which I don't say to sound rude or ungrateful to like the wealth of information that's out there, but I get really anxious about sort of unsolicited advice and warnings, and it makes me oftentimes like second guess the decisions I've made, like about the surgeon or about which procedure I'm having, or just how I'm prepping, like that kind of stuff. And if I really feel shaky about something, I will ask about it, but I don't really need other people's experiences to influence mine in ways that might be unhelpful and unnecessary. Um, I feel good about the choices I've made thus far. I feel good about knowing who and what I can turn to for information, and I just don't want to like take on other people's experiences in a way that's not helpful. Um, Third, I am sort of looking into and trying to sort of come up with an arsenal of like breathing exercises and anything like visualize-y and like any sort of low physical, because I'll be post-op, things I can do to relax myself. I'm thinking particularly like the couple days right before surgery and right after surgery when I have the drains in and I'm maybe in like a good amount of pain and or discomfort at least, and I'm like really anxious about the drains and having to clean them. Because in case you haven't noticed by how much I've mentioned them, the drains are what make me the most anxious because I don't really want small tubes coming out of me filling with stuff. So whatever. Um, but yeah, so I'm kind of trying to decide on a couple of those that I want to that'll work for me, and starting that practice now so that it is a practice I have by the time surgery is there. So stuff like as simple as like taking deep breaths or like um, maybe like a couple words or like an image that I like sort of sit with and use to help relax. So and music. I've also been like a music person in terms of relaxing, and I have certain albums that I know make me feel good, and that I can concentrate enough on that I'm not thinking about things that are going on. So, music for sure. And then I'm just trying to stay loosey goosey, which is when I promise this comes back around. When I was starting my freshman year of high school, my grandfather died. It was my mother's father. And the next day, after we found out, my dad was driving my sisters and I to school, and we were all kind of nervous and whining. I think like all of our sort of like uncertainty and nervousness was turning into like complaining about when was the funeral going to be and when were we going to have to drive, and what were we going to miss at school, or what was going on and why don't we know stuff. And he just was like, because he is I think goofy in times like that when it is helpful to be goofy. He's like, you just need to be loosey goosey, just be loosey goosey. And this isn't the same sort of situation at all. But I think as I work closer to the date of surgery and start feeling really nervous about all these physical elements to it that I like just can't predict and just can't know, and I can't know how my body's gonna react to stuff, and I can't know what's gonna make me really anxious and what's gonna like be a catalyst to like a really physical nervous reaction to me. I'm just trying to stay loosey goosey. And a goofy enough phrase like that is certain to like sort of cut a little bit of anxiety, so it's helpful. So thanks, Dad, for that one. Yeah, the day is set. I'm amped. I know that I sound mostly like a mess about it, but I promise I'm amped. Yeah. So I will for sure be back soon with updates about money stuff and getting all these forms in order and travel plans and that kind of stuff. But in the meantime, if you have any questions or comments or things you would like me to do a video about, you can comment here or catch me on Tumblr or Twitter or Instagram, whatever. I've got all the links and stuff. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon.